delighted to be here. I've been learning a lot. I've been exchanging and I'm connecting with many of you. We are going through a similar journey in many ways. And when I talk about learning, at least at UNDP, the United Nations Development Program, we talk about a continuous learning approach. So our approach is that you can learn all the time, anywhere, in many different ways. So we try to move our culture from know it all to learn it all. And when talking about learning, I like to focus on career, actually. When you learn about your own career development, to actually focus on your career goals and learn accordingly, you have a tendency to learn more and be more proactive. So this is where we need to invest into technology to connect the dots and to create a learning ecosystem for our people to thrive, develop yourself, develop the world. Quick word about myself. So yes, I'm leading this portfolio at UNDP, the career development portfolio. We are a team of 3. And we have 12 colleagues in the learning team working with capability, leadership, and people management. So I'm not from London. You thought so? No. Actually, grew up in Guadeloupe, Caribbean island, French island. And I know there are some Arsenal fans, like I'm looking at Mervyn. Arsenal. Thierry Henry is from Guadeloupe, great ambassador. And I worked in Mexico after studying international relations. I lived in Dublin, not too far from here, and so some Irish in the room. It was a great time for me. And now I'm there, not all the time, only when I work. It's UNCT in Copenhagen, 2,000 people. So Denmark has been a great place for me. Got a Danish wife, studied there, and I worked since 2010 for UNDP. Moved 5 years to New York, still working with learning. And UN, it's something special, and you have a special identity when you work for the United Nations. Everyone has an opinion on it. My family really think that I'm working there, in the General Assembly. My mother is on the live stream, so. But my friends don't think we do so much. They think, yeah, you take money for nothing. But in the society, we still have a good image, and I could feel that a bit with you. So thanks for that. But the NGOs don't think so. They don't think we are doing so much, and there are some in the room. I still think I'm doing something. I still think I'm having an impact and making a difference, and that's why I go to work every day, despite sometimes a bit of bureaucracy. Still motivated. So the agenda, we're going to talk a bit about UNDP and give you some more insights. And then I will zoom into some career initiatives linking learning and career development. So what is UNDP? United Nations Development Program.
We believe in the future. We believe that people and planet can thrive as one. We believe that lessons learned will guide generations to come. We believe that moving forward means leaving no one behind. We believe that sustainability is survival, and that equality will become universal. We know the challenges are extraordinary, but we can achieve the extraordinary. And we believe that working together is what makes the world strong. At UNDP, we believe in everything we do. Now, we can do even better.
So the work we do is all about the Sustainable Development Goals. And I'm just checking a bit in the room. Do you know about the SDGs? If so, yeah, can you raise your hand? Oh, very good. Yeah, so many of you. Yeah, how many of them? How many SDGs? 17, correct. Like for Nick, you're not winning anything, but and yes, SDG is trying to cover many different topics, from no poverty to climate action, quality education, and yes, it's a lot to cover because we are facing many challenges, extreme challenges. Of course, climate change is one of it. Extreme violence sometimes, inequalities, famine. So, but we are still making progress compared to the 90s. We have 1 billion less people living in poverty. But we still have right now 650 million people living in extreme poverty. 300 million of people being unemployed, 65 million people being displaced because of conflict, and 1.6 billion people living in a place where there is a conflict. So we have a lot to achieve, and this is why we need a roadmap, and the SDGs are all about that. It's an agenda for 2030 that we need to achieve together. That's why I wanted to mention it. It's not a UN agenda. It's actually for all actors, private sector, companies, citizens, governments, and the UN. We can all take action and contribute. Happy to discuss it more afterwards. So that's where UNDP comes in. We work with all the SDGs, 17 of them. Some agencies, UNICEF, will be specialized with working with children, supporting them. WHO, the World Health Organization, health. This is very clear. UNDP, we work with development, trying to eradicate poverty and protect the planet. And everything is interrelated. So that's why we work with these different elements: governance, resilience, environment, energy, gender equality, poverty. So once again, complex problems, complex solutions too. And we do achieve things. And just a few examples from 2021. Thanks to the work we have done in 30 countries, we have 38 million new voters registered. For instance, in Liberia, we did this work in Liberia. In Peru, let's say you have a government and you want to have elections and you don't know how to go about it, who do you talk to? You need this kind of agencies like a neutral partner to be able to deal with that, and we support. We also support countries with their national goals regarding environment and climate action. We also work, for instance, with 43 countries. We worked in 2021 to address gender-based violence, mostly with adding laws to the rule of law in these countries. So it's not easy to sell it to a big audience out there sometimes, because it's a work happening behind the scene with governments, trying to change the constitution, trying to have new laws. But I mean, it's having an impact in the long term. So I'm putting a bit of context here about how to support our colleagues working with so many different things in many different locations. I'm talking about 21,000 people right now. So 180 nationalities, so in terms of languages, a lot of diversity, and we are located everywhere, kind of. 170 countries, having a UNDP office. So how do you support such a workforce? How do you make sure that we all, work into the same direction? In a way, we are all different, but we are all the same. And I mentioned career development at the beginning, as a way to learn, and it does work that way for most. I think it was mentioned just before that we have the same goals in life, kind of, happiness, being engaged, being recognized, and thriving. So we build our initiatives on that. I say we, I said 3%, we are more. We have this kind of network of talent development managers, colleagues doing extra work to promote learning in their offices. You need a village to achieve these things. And our colleagues are there in these country offices to pass on the word about learning, these new initiatives, promoting it. we cannot do that on a global scale only. It's impossible. And we need these people, these ambassadors, these champions out there. And now we are using Fuel 50. I talked about the technology and the impact of it. Once again, on the global scale, we needed a platform like Fuel 50 to be able to connect learning and career development. And this is how it looks. So it's very interesting to see how it looks for differently, for each organization, isn't it? And that's ours, and in English, French, and Spanish, available in 3 languages. Maybe adding more in the future, Portuguese. And yes, it's going quite well. And we use it, we attract everyone for different reasons, with different objectives. We have, for instance, the Spark program. It's a formal career development program. It was for women only for 2 years, where we were supporting our participants to do some introspection work, look at their career development, create a plan, have a coach, so working with different vendors, different partners, learn online, Coursera, and also have a community. We have added mentoring to that now because we are using now the platform for the self-assessment and also to connect to mentors. So all these different elements to build this this program. It's 4 months long. And we can see the impact. We can see the impact with more engagement for the participants, and also sometimes, for sure, actually, more confidence in their career development and the future they have. Another initiative, so not a formal cohort-based program, but on-the-job learning. Virtual Development Assignment Program, the gigs. But we couldn't say gigs in the UN, like it was not going across as being understood. So we call it Virtual Development Assignments. It's the same idea. So we have these projects of UNDP being posted on the platform and colleagues volunteering to join, 1 to 5 persons max to support these projects. And it's going quite well. We have a colleague working from Kenya, full-time on this, leading this initiative. And it's for, when you engage yourself, it's for 4 months, 5 to 6 hours a week. We really believe in this initiative, and we want to reach another scale in the future. We have great results. The colleagues you see on the picture, I mean, they are enthusiastic, and they are located in Tunisia, in Istanbul, in Kenya. So yeah, for a global organization like ours, this is really working well. The results are there. One day, maybe, we work with other agencies, merging our talent marketplace. We talked with Anne about that. I think it will be a dream. Maybe also with the private sector. We need to collaborate. We need to work together to achieve these SDGs. So VDAP initiatives from the private sector, let's talk. The third initiative I wanted to talk about is our global mentoring program. What you see on the screen is the framework we are using. It's, I mean, wide enough and, you know, open in a way. Like, you want to be a mentor? Please do so. You want to share? You want to be engaged? Please join. Same for the mentees. We also say that actually the best way to enjoy and benefit from this program is to be both a mentor and a mentee. You meet for 6 months. You can meet 6 times during this period, or you can meet more if you want, 30 to 60 minutes. But we needed such a platform actually to have such a program on the global scale. There is no mentoring culture at UNDP on the global scale, so we are creating it. It's a lot of work, a lot of communication, and but it is worth it. And that's why I want to ask you, do you have a mentoring program, a formal mentoring program in your organization? If you can raise your hands. Okay, 40% of the room. I would say then, why not? Why not having a mentoring program? I see a lot of benefits, especially if you already have your Fuel 50. I mean, it's quite easy to implement. And yeah, the results are there. But indeed, it's a lot of communication work, and but to create a culture, you need to start with somewhere with this snowball effect, it was mentioned twice, in mind. So I gave you the context. We are working on a global scale with a very diverse crowd, and willing to be engaged, to thrive wherever they are located, and they want to have access to career pathing. They want to have access to self-assessment, and that's why we need to invest in technology because of the agility, the collaboration, the economies of scale. We talked about the experience, creating relationships through the mentoring, through the gigs. In terms of retention, I mean, it was mentioned again a few times, but there were many elements showing that if you are engaged, you have a tendency to stay and thrive at work. Capacity, skills development, and return on investment, sorry, and to have an impact in the future. So I wanted to have time for questions and maybe share some maybe challenges as well we faced with some partners in the room. Maybe I take a few questions and I hope open the discussion, open the floor. If not, yeah, see one.
Yeah, hi, thank you very much. Very interesting, Pierre. I wondered, given that you're working across the 17 SDGs there, I'm sure you've got some quite niche and unique skills around things like climate change, and I just wondered how that fits and comes through with the work that you've done with Fuel 50.
Yeah. So yes, indeed, it's when you work on so many different topics. So more or less each country where we work will have a different program because we work with the government to decide on the objectives and the support we provide. So let's take, we work in Senegal with fishery. So, I mean, this is very specific skills for our team to have and work with that. So we actually mixed our competency framework with the Fuel 50 ontology, trying to have a global approach. From what I understand as well, when we have users adding their own skills through their CV, it's also adding up to the library, to the ontology. So by doing so, we try to have like a broad perspective of the skills we have. But of course, it is some work and it's not perfect. It was very interesting to hear about Sage this morning and in terms of skills and as well the terms of reference. Of course, we are not different, we are not better. When we had to look into the data and the quality of data, we understood that it will be a journey when we started working on the implementation of the platform. And the terms of reference too, descriptions of posts, not centralized at all. So we had to find them and trying to connect and compile everything. So more work to be done on all of this. Yeah, got two.
I just know that you've been doing some work with women in different programs. Can you just speak to that a bit?
With Hannah, yes. So we started to work with.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So I think Rhonda was asking that we are working with Hannah, our focal point in the room. Maybe you can say a word, Hannah. Yeah. On different programs, we don't use our partnership with Fuel 50 only for using the platform. We actually use as well the coaching dimension of it, and the coaches of Fuel 50 are helping our staff facing rotation to support them with their career mobility, and we have great conversations with the team because I think it's a win-win situation. I think for the coach, it's great to talk to our people doing some interesting work somewhere in the world, and for our people, they really value the advice provided by the coaches. So that's one element. Then we have the webinars. We have been working with U50 since 2019, I think, having webinars about career development. And Amy was our star starting this program. Thank you so much. And in English, French, and Spanish, talking about career development, which could be different things, writing a CV, emotional intelligence. So we do collaborate with these different elements. And yeah, Hannah is our focal point now.
Yeah, and I should say it's a privilege to work with your people. But some of the statement, and I want your comment on it, in that obviously providing technology facilitates internal mobility, and particularly around the skills aspect. But what we've discovered is it's significantly more than skills. And I'm thinking of that cultural dimension of, say, moving someone, say, from Africa, who's used to working in a very command and control male-dominated environment, to move into New York, where he's now working for two females. And need for us to recognise that it's not just about skills, but there's a big cultural dynamic if we're going to create true internal mobility in an organisation. What's your view?
Yeah, it's and that's where we need you as a coach to help us. Once again, we need a village to do all of this. Like, no way I can support 2,000 people who are facing mobility in the next 3 years. And moving from a specific context to another one, indeed, it's very difficult, and it's about intercultural management. And to be honest, I would like to do more on that. It's a very interesting topic. And of course, we have our set of values to work for the UN. We agreed on that. But still, you have a big influence according to the location, according to where your office is. And this is exactly this kind of context you can face if you move to a place where, let's say, it could be a bit, in terms of gender, things can be difficult. So how do we support our people the best way possible? This is about well-being. It's about many different things, and we need partners to do so, and more work to come so on this. But it's true. So the best way to equip our people is actually to have these conversations before they move to a new place. What we have been piloting is actually to do some intercultural management surveys. So looking at the values where they are from, the country they are going into, and their current values, because many of them are expats. So actually the way they think, their culture already changed a lot compared to where they are from. You take me, I'm French, but if you look at my evaluation in terms of culture, I'm a bit tweaked, because I'm sure I did live in Mexico, Denmark, Ireland, and so on. So I have a bit of Irishness in me, a bit, and in the end, so yeah, we are all different, all special. And so, but you can prepare people to say, look, you're going to go to a place where you are like this in terms of, for instance, hierarchy, how you see hierarchy, or in terms of gender, how you feel. And this is how, of course, it's generic, but this is how the place you're going to is going to be. So at least you can prepare them saying, okay, there are going to be some challenges, be ready for that. Plus, maybe your people manager, your future supervisor is maybe coming from somewhere else with a different culture. So this we can try to prepare, but I mean, when we talk about thousands of people, it's a lot of work, but this is what we are piloting right now. And yeah, more to come on this. Thanks for the question.
I wanted to ask a quick one too, because we get a lot of questions about global rollouts, right? And did you find that kind of rolling out through the programs, because you have such diverse populations, was the way to go versus geographic locations, or how did you decide that? Yeah,
so, and Camila is in the room. She was our amazing partner to do the work on this. So we decided to go, we had 500 licenses to start with, and we went out there, not with a specific region, more looking at whoever is interested, please join. But we had these initiatives in place to actually attract people to the platform, as I mentioned, two of them, the mentoring, the gigs. So we started with everything at the same time. So it was our approach. A bit like, let's pilot it, let's be open, and then we continue to build the plane while we are flying, in a way. Still here, and now we have like 3,000 people on it instead of 500 in 1 year. So we are growing. But so that was our approach. We felt like if we only open the platform for a limited number of people with like one module, it's not going to work out, because it was clear that many of the different parts of the platform could work without too much work to put into it, like the career pathing, the learning module where we have connected LinkedIn Learning now. So it was possible to go quite fast into implementing and making sure that was working well enough for people to explore and enjoy much more than just the modules they join or the programs they join the platform for. So that was the spirit. But a lot of communication, I have to say. We have created some communities where we try to really spread the message, saying you can do more. You are maybe a mentor. Maybe look at the learning module. So we have created many videos to explain all of this in English, French, and Spanish. And I'm talking to our different offices. Maybe 3 times a week, I'm having presentations of this type where I'm saying, look, it's there for you. You have the ownership of your own career, but we are here to provide you these resources, and you decide what you want to work on and learn about.
Inspiring story. Thank you, Pierre. And I know, like Hannah and Michael from 1080, the Fuel 50 team feels super privileged and humbled to be supporting your good people doing good work. So we're very grateful for that opportunity. One of the things that has inspired me that we haven't talked about today is the, across the entire United Nations with the Career Development Roundtable, CDR, where you and I first met. So I'd love you to maybe share a little bit about the work you're doing there.
Good. Yeah, no, thanks. So we have a complex system. I've been 12 years now working for UNDP. I'm still learning about the UN system around us. 74 organizations, agencies in a big family, working together or not, on certain of the SDGs I mentioned. But we are facing many similar issues, challenges, and same needs from our teams. So every year we have this conference, the Career Development Roundtable, and where most of the UN agencies and close to the family organizations like Interpol, for instance, are all coming together to talk about career development and talent management. It's happening in Paris this year, and I think Fuel 50 will be there. And so we really try to exchange knowledge, see how we can work together more. And yes, it's very interesting to see what's happening. I will present this time something similar to what I've been doing here. And to see, once again, can we connect the dots? Can we work together? Can we have a talent marketplace, which could be the, mixing our different organizations' resources and agendas, and then expand in a way the career pathing objectives. So it's very important that we do so. Once again, from the outside, sometimes the UN looks like it's one entity, but it's much complex and much more complex than that. And but we need to work together to achieve these goals. Maybe Camilla, you want to say a word about your experience working with us, because we were the first UN entity working with Fuel 50. We had some complex issues, isn't it, to solve, and that was you.
Hi everyone. First of all, it was an absolute pleasure to partner with an organization like yours. What I would want to say with regards to this particular implementation of the project was transparency that we had with the organization, understanding the goals that they wanted to achieve. And it was a true partnership when we were all working together on achieving those goals. So that helped a lot, that transparency and understanding the goals of the organizations and partnerships. So it was a long journey, but we got there. And as Pierre is mentioning right now, from very little people that you've had starting with the platform, now you're growing and growing, and it's incredible to see that growth and people wanting to explore and see what the opportunities are there for them. Yeah.
No, thanks, and thanks for your patience again.
No,
as
no,
I said,
it was absolute pleasure. Thank you.
But what is great to see, it's more or less, as I said, it's yes, very diverse, crowd in many different places of the world, but in a way looking at the same elements to develop themselves. And that's where actually the platform is working very well for us.
Yeah, and I think also what you've mentioned is very interesting, that you actually went for it. So you weren't 100% ready, but you went for it. You trusted not only us, but you trusted your gut feeling, and you knew what you wanted to achieve, and you just gave it to your people, and it actually works and it grows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The beginners. we took the risk, and because there was so much to do as well. Like we could see career development being one of the top priorities of our people, but we could see that we had so much to do to help them out, and we were building the portfolio in a way, and where to start. So in a way, we said, yeah, we start a bit with all of that at least, and see where it goes, and then we communicate accordingly. For instance, I didn't communicate so much right now about the people managers module, the leaders module, but this is the next step. So we are reaching out and communicating to different audiences according to what we can offer. But looking at the resource we have and size of the team, we need to then prioritize the communication and then promote each element of the platform. One after the other. But we continue the journey.
I'd like to say is working with the people that have been receiving the tool and experiencing it, the feedback is very positive, and actually you're just opening it up and letting them use it has really allowed them to develop their own careers and take control, and the feedback's been really positive. So well done to you and your team.
Thanks, Hannah. And so Hannah is managing this team of coaches worldwide, because we have these needs for different languages and different locations in the world. So it's a real work of coordination and collaboration. So the work is much appreciated and it's going very well. So thanks for that. One or two questions. We still have a few more minutes. Yeah, Robin.
So that was actually really fabulous to hear about it. But what I want to know is, when do you sleep? If there's only two of you on your team, how did you manage to do all of this with just two people on a team?
Yeah, we had more or less, we are not shy to ask for help, and so we have volunteers coming from other teams. We had amazing interns, I have to say. If they're online, I want to say thanks again. So it's and the FuelX team has been great to partner with us. I have to say that, like when we came with different queries, they really helped us and supported us. The help desk is working very well. So that's how we did it. But I think we need to continue the journey. We want to improve it, and one day my dream is that we have the vacancies and the recruitment system connected to it. So more or less, according to the career path you choose, roles you are targeting, then you will have vacancies pushed to you. And that would be, for me, amazing if we could, complete the circle and have this provided to our users. But So well-being is very important, and we take it in account. So we do sleep, but you need to be engaged, and you need this passion. And I think what we do is working with learning, career development is extremely interesting. And I think we all agree when we discuss and see the presentations today that we have this passion, this fire in ourselves that keeps us, motivated.
This is Amy. I want to piggyback on that just for a second because I've worked with, I think, every one of our clients over the last, to lesser or greater degrees, for the last 3 years. And I always say about our projects, you need at least one person who's super passionate about it. And I think Pierre so beautifully exemplifies that because he's in a very complex organization and single-handedly really championed this around not just his UNDP, but around other agencies as well. You had to navigate with your IT department. There were a lot of barriers, but because Pierre was so invested and so passionate, he really made it happen for UNDP. So you need to have a moment of credit for that because I've seen that journey and it was quite a lot. So thank you.
Thanks, Amy. You know very well what happened, but indeed we still face some challenges internally. Like we are not in agreement with some other departments sometimes about how to do things, and that's why we try to have the best product possible, to show that it does work and it does have an impact for more integration in the future. So we need to integrate more our different systems. So it was wonderful to hear about your different experiences this morning, to see that you do integrate the different platforms. Sometimes it takes some more time to achieve that. And that's why we also wanted to grow fast to show that, this is necessary, there is a need, and it's working out. Instead to just wait for all the planets to be aligned, let's say. So we didn't wait for that. So I'm close to the end. I can take one more question if you have. If not, we discuss afterwards if you want further collaboration or our experiences. But thanks again for the opportunity to invite me.